welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, the holiday season is here, but I'm wondering if there's any cheer to spread around. Really, what with COVID, with restrictions, the skies were just opening up. In fact, people were making their travel plans. And then, of course, we heard about the UK strain. But still, one good thing that's come out of this is that travel is now looking inwards. I'm told that more inward destinations, while borders are being sealed, people are traveling within the country, getting to know their own country. There are lots of staycations that are happening. So what is going to be the nature of the travel, and also what is happening right now? I have joining me on the roundtable is a panel of experts from the travel industry, in fact. So we're going to try and give you, well, hopefully you'll figure out where to plan your winter vacation or your New Year's Eve, or whether there is anything to plan or not. But I'm hopeful that there will be some good news coming out of this roundtable today. Joining me is Jangbir Singh. He is the director at Celebi International Airport Services. In fact, his company does the ground handling for 7 airports, including Delhi and Mumbai. Rajiv Kohli, he is a joint managing director at Creative Travel, which specializes, I think, in inbound travel. So we're going to be asking you a lot about that. Varsha Hoon, she's the founder and proprietor of Connections Inc. And of course, another person that one can ask about travel, both within India and also outside. So we're going to be checking with her as to when it's opening up. And if you want a good deal, then Varsha is there, as well as Rajiv also. Pranjal Sharma, he is the author of India Automated and an economic analyst. And in fact, I'm told a lot of tech solutions are the way to travel. So Pranjal, that's where you're going to be coming in. And that's it. That's all of us. So I'll begin with you, Jangbir. You're really the man on the ground. So, help us understand what is happening exactly and how are people traveling in terms of safety measures? What is the mood on the airport actually?
Well, movement has picked up. We're sort of adapting to the new normal. And earlier you tied up with security, and now it's sanitization. Traffic had plummeted, but I think over a period of time, people, there is very little to tell you as to what can be a absolutely 100% protocol, which can secure. So people have sort of adapted and developed means to sort of secure themselves, and have come to realize that your chance of, getting infected either at the airport or at inside an aircraft are near very remote. So the first, you're taking baby steps. So the first few steps have been to local destinations. After everybody moved off from whatever you could travel within a close vicinity by automobiles, you come to planes and you start moving to maybe Kochi, to Goa as being in a very big destination. And likewise, international traffic. So there is no inbound tourism, but outbound, there is quite a bit of traffic, and we're quite happy to see that.
But what are people doing in terms of traveling? What are the precautions? Apart from what is, of course, mandated, I'm sure everybody is taking some extra steps. Anything that you've noticed, any tips that will help our people to travel?
Well, on a lighter note, sometimes you reach the airport, you feel like you're at Cape Canaveral because everybody's in a spacesuit. So, it's whether you wear a mask and a face shield on top of that, and you wear gloves. So to be honest, we as it is, aircrafts are very sanitized, and now we go an extra length as to double, triple sanitize. And so that's why you don't hear of so many crew members getting infected. That should be a yardstick, that these are the people in the air all the time with multiple passengers who keep changing, and they haven't come out infected. So people are wearing gloves, then there are people, and then the occasional person who's too blasé will not want to wear anything, and you find everybody capering on it. So it's, I like to take it on a lighter note rather than doomsday, prophecy. Things are opening up.
Okay. And how much are they opening up? To give us the big picture is Nishant. Nishant, I'm sorry, my screen was not clear that time. I thought you hadn't joined us. Nishant Pitti, the CEO of Ease My Trip, is also with us. Nishant, give us a big picture in terms of travel. Is it as optimistic as Jangbir is saying, or you are still worried? Rajiv, do you want to take that question?
So I've made 3 trips in the last, ever since things started opening up. 2 were driving and 1 required a flight. I think human behavior is very, very strong. Airports were full. I just came back from a new opening of a hotel, visiting a new hotel in Rishikesh. 79 of the 79 rooms are sold out. Okay. So I think people are traveling. Of course, they're traveling first where they can drive to, which is natural because that is accessible. I don't think there is fear so much. There is caution, but I don't think there is fear. I mean, last time I went through the airport, honestly, if I didn't know there was COVID, a lot of it would just look exactly the same, you know. So yeah, it's coming back.
But maybe it's that, as I was saying, traveling inwards, maybe, hotels that have more outdoor facilities like Rishikesh would do better than, say, a hotel in a metro.
You know what?
Yeah.
Listen, Priya, the reality on the ground is there is no difference. People were eating inside, people were eating outside. Masks were not on everywhere. It was normal. It was just normal. I think there's fatigue. Hona to hoega. As long as we're washing our hands, wearing the mask, being sensible, there's nothing more you can do that other than lock yourself in the room and stay there for the rest of your life. And that's what people have come to the realization. Just let's get on with it and be cautious.
Sorry, as I was saying, I missed out on your introduction. You're CEO of easemytrip.com. What are you hearing in terms of trends, and when does international travel open again? It nearly did, and then we had the UK virus.
So see, right now the travel for international is majorly for two destinations, that is Dubai and Maldives. And because of this new strain of coronavirus, which has impacted the UK flights, right, that will not affect much of the larger audience, as London or UK is not the right time for. Still, it will impact the international travel. And one more thing, that it will add. It will increase the productivity for domestic tourism. If you go to any destination in India, all the hotels in the majority of the 5-star hotel chains are full in Goa.
Varsha, destinations within India, which are the most favored destinations that you would recommend as a travel agent? And okay, first that.
Okay.
Well, frankly, I mean, people are traveling to where there are cars. I do not agree. There is still a lot of scare, and people are scared of traveling. I'm seeing that definitely by car, people are traveling by car. Someone wanted to travel to Jaisalmer, which is quite amazing. There were no rooms available. In Jaisalmer and Jodhpur, there are no rooms available for New Year's. So people are flying, yet everybody's got the, like they say, kida laga hua hai. Everybody wants to get out. People are getting fed up of just being locked up. So it is going to pick up, but when, God alone knows.
Where does that leave the future for travel agents? Do you see, in terms of business, what's business like, and where do you see the future? Are you really rethinking or you think there is hope?
Well, there is basically, I am looking at other options of what to do. But domestic is what is taking off, not international. International is very little. People are going, even colleges have been pushed, like in America, colleges have been pushed to August. So very few people are going back there. Domestic, yes, there is a lot of movement. I am finding a lot of tickets, Bombay, Goa, Calcutta, everywhere. There is a lot of domestic travel. I'm doing a lot of domestic, more than international, which used to be the other way around earlier.
In the winters. Pranjal, so the answer really lies in a field that you're an expert in, using more technology, more contactless travel, more, help of artificial intelligence. How do you see the travel shaping up?
So, Priya, it's great to hear all the friends here, but it's actually two extremes that I'm noticing. At one end, it's very basic, which is, we're going back to the driving tours. And Varsha, I did drive up to Jaisalmer and back in November. So, on a normal year, I would never have driven. It's 800 kilometers from Delhi. I did a Delhi Pushkar, Jaisalmer Pushkar, Delhi kind of route. It was, with some not fear, but I was wondering whether I can do this driving. It was more about the driving capability and the highways, but it turned out to be beautiful, right? And the hotels that we stayed in, excellent arrangements. Everything was done very well. Plus, because there are fewer people, I think the experience becomes that much better. You're not crowding. You're not jostling for various things. The tourist spots like the Jaisalmer Fort, for example, had much fewer people. So that's one end of what I see happening. Second, of course, technology is helping Pia, but at the extreme lockdown, companies like Amazon and Google were offering virtual tours to the extent that you could not just do a tour using AR and virtual reality on your laptop, but also connect with buyers. So, for example, you could walk along a lane in a Mexican city, and if you saw a shop, you could click on a button and you could buy something on the spot, and that would be delivered to you. So, lots of these interesting things have also happened. But what I believe is likely to happen, and I think should happen in any crisis, every business has to reinvent themselves, right? Business models will change. The way you offer products and packages will change. So I don't know, maybe Rajiv, Varsha, and Jangveer can add. I was reading about things like, fit travel, which is free independent traveler, is going to rise, where you have smaller groups where people will come together rather than gigantic groups. Maybe areas which are not explored earlier will be explored. Rajiv came back from Arunachal, and I saw his wonderful photographs on Instagram. So I think those are the kind of things which will happen. Technology will enable, and people will explore virtually, and then gather the courage to go physically.
I was reading, I think The Economist, something saying that facial recognition may help you. And there's a whole lot of debate going on that, whether I think privacy is now out of the window, right?
So facial recognition, it's something people are using in different ways, but that itself is a challenge. Half your face covered with a mask. I think even the face recognition algorithms have a lot of hard work to do. So see, technology will remain for contact tracing and for immediate support. But I think for the travel and tourism industry, is fundamentally a very physical activity. It cannot be virtualized. So it can be to an extent, but my belief is that over next year, people will explore far more virtually, but go out and step within the range that they have. So I think you may also want to break it up into, international travel, domestic travel. Hotels will pick up definitely. Driving tours will pick up definitely. I think flights and international travel is not just a factor of fear of flying, but really the rules and regulations where all kinds of bubbles and restrictions are being put between countries.
So Nishant, that's why you'll come in, because you also liaison with the hotel industry. Are the big hotels worried? As soon either it's heritage hotel or B&Bs that people are really going towards?
So see, if you talk about the hotels in India, the majority domestic destination, as mentioned by Pranjal as well, are operating at 100% capacity. Recently, I went to Gulmarg. So the hotel, Khyber Hotel is the famous over there. So I checked on them. So they said that they are full till 8th of February. They don't have any more further reservation. They don't have further rooms to sell. So if you talk about domestic flights, the business will at EaseMart, we are already at 85% business of pre-COVID levels. But international, we will be going by pre-COVID level by next winter season only.
Take 1 year for your business to pick up again.
Yeah, for the international destination, yeah.
Okay. So Jangveer, what does the airport look like? I'm told it's just deserted. We've seen a lot of Instagram posts from people. Either it's looking like it's out of Mars or it's just totally abandoned.
Oh, it's, this is like they were saying, it's a new normal. You have to understand the airport used to be an individual ecosystem. It was a place, because of security, which was first paramount, that you had to show up 3 hours before, and then airport operators created an environment with shopping, spas, etc., and you didn't mind it. And there was a lot of revenue generated, a lot of employment happening out of it. Now we have this new normal. So you don't only have security, but you have this. Without a doubt, it got deserted. People are adapting to it. So it's every day we learn a new thing. Right now you're totally covered. Earlier, people wouldn't even buy a cup of coffee. Now you find that all the food vends are very active. People are using disposables and all. So with that comes a lot of garbage. So things are happening, and yet we are finding solutions at the same time. But what we're trying to achieve is that the airport revives its own ecosystem again, where whatever time it took for you to come and whatever protocols had to be maintained, but the airport as a little environment worked effortlessly as it was before. So right now there's no duty free happening. There's no purchasing. So all that is coming one step, because clearly we haven't got any definition as to what is contagious and what is not. Does the surface make it contagious? Any goods you see in any of the vents, are they contagious? So, people are adapting to it slowly. But and then you have this occasional, now you're going to have this scare of the virus mutating. So there are going to be spikes and lows. I think we are eventually going to come to a time when there will be a protocol between each nation that you may have to show that you're COVID negative or a pathogen negative status before you enter an airport. And once you're inside, then onwards journey, everybody is secure.
Just quickly before going for a break, so what are the points of contact from the minute you enter the airport to the minute you board the air flight where there is contact?
Well, it's become very little contact as at all. So even for check-in, you just come in there. They prefer that you do. So for domestic, it's a lot more easier. So people prefer that you have contactless check-in. You do online check-ins. You just come there. If you're carrying baggage, they'll tag it and put it in. And as you go, so security is the point where there would have been some form of contact, but they've reduced that down, and there are no more pat downs and things like that. Or if they feel it's necessary, the security personnel are quite covered up. So, but on the international side, it's a bigger challenge because you have to go through immigration and passport control. You're wearing masks, etc. And how do you define that? So you got to check your biometrics. You don't want to touch that. So there's this perpetual cleaning and re-cleaning. There's a joke going around that everybody's soon going to have the same fingerprint because of using so much sanitizer. You're going to wipe off your fingerprints. So, that's the challenging part right now.
Okay, we're going to take a break and come back, but at least the mood is looking up. I've heard stories of how initially passengers wore diapers on the flights because they were so scared to use the loos. But I think, as Jangbir says, people are getting slightly more confident. We take a look at the travel and tourism industry in the times of course, winter vacations. Rajiv, you heard the conversation so far. Anything particular that you want to add in terms of, where do you see, where would you recommend people to travel to go for their holidays?
Look, I think as long as you're use precaution, as long as you follow the hygiene standards, travel. Okay, whether you drive 6 hours and go to a resort, or whether you fly to a resort, quite honestly, as Jangbir said, the airports and planes are the least of our concerns. They are sanitized more than anything that we can imagine, and I've seen them. Okay, so the only difference is, what are your points of contact between getting to an airport and getting out of an airport, which is almost very similar to a car, because people are stopping at midway stops. I've stopped at midway stops. Just be careful. I think people want to travel. We have restrictions traveling overseas, even though there are about 21 bubble flights to different countries.
But Rajiv, I had a question. I mean, what kind of, as a consumer, I'd like to know what kind of new products or changes can I expect in 2021, from folks like you and Varsha and Nishant?
Well, I think, yes, I went to Arunachal. For me, that was the first experience of deeper into Northeast beyond Sikkim. Our country is beautiful. Okay. Yes, the number of people going overseas was increasing every year. And we do know a lot of those are looking inwards right now. There are so many destinations beyond the Goas and the Keralas that people haven't discovered, and they're out there, and the information is available online. You talked about technology. Technology is not going to replace travel, but technology is most certainly going to supplement our efforts as selling of travel and telling people where they can go and how they can go. And today's traveler is a lot more tech savvy in Googling the different destinations, and the domestic states have become very active in trying to market themselves. There are going to be a few domestic roadshows. I know a few states have already reached out to the travel industry in trying to promote their wares. And at the end of the day, it is for us, the sellers of travels. There are three different over here and three different very segments of selling travel. It's for us to promote these new destinations to the consumer out there, be it online, be it through physical sales, be it through presentations, whatever it is. The world is our oyster within our country, and that's our biggest challenge because we have so much to offer. Where do you start?
Which is actually, Varsha, this, taking off from what Rajiv said, then the physical presence is very important as versus, where you and Rajiv can score maybe over Nishant is, people want to talk to the physical travel agent, figure out where to go. And also in terms of cancellations, in terms of rejigging their bookings, isn't that a positive sign for you?
Yes, absolutely. Because, I think every client wants reassurance and they want someone they can just reach out to. I get a lot of calls saying, should I go? Should I not go? How long before should I go? They're questions which everybody is confused about. And yes, people are calling me and asking me whether they should travel abroad. I am really pushing travel within India because traveling abroad, the other fear is the UK flights just got cancelled. You're stuck somewhere abroad. You get stuck for 15 days also. It's a massive dent on your pocket. So people are finding it easier and safer to travel within India. And yes, travel agent will never go away in India because a travel agent is reassurance for a passenger.
And what are the kind of questions people are asking these days? Apart from, of course, will I get a refund? But beyond that, what are the concerns they're asking? How are the airlines behaving? Initially they refused to refund. Is that now, are they more open to say if a passenger can't travel because of COVID, because he suddenly has the infection, then what happens?
No, they're very good with that. If someone produces a certificate where they're positive, they are changing without charges. They're being very helpful. There is no denying that. But the sort of questions that come to me is literally, should I travel? I mean, how can one answer that? It's up to you. It's your decision. But are people traveling to Dubai? I said, yeah, you've already bought the ticket. What do you want to do? They're worried. Yes, now it's a little more reassuring because insurance companies have come out with COVID cover. So, people are feeling a little more secure going. If they were taking a $200,000 policy, now they're taking a $10 million, $10 lakh policy. They're just being extra cautious. But people are going to travel. There are so many people waiting just to get out. I have people lined up saying, let the flights open and we are going. It's as much as that.
That is, at least the spirit is looking up, if not the flights. Nishant, which are the destinations that, apart from Dubai and Malaysia, within India, what would you say?
So in India, Dubai and Maldives are the two destinations which are open right now for Indian tourists in the international segment. But in India, Goa, Kerala, Srinagar, and Northeast part are getting sold.
And what are the kind of questions you are getting from people, the kind of queries that you are, that kind of worries or concerns that you would see?
So majority of them are concerned about the quarantine rule of that particular state, that what state is asking for the quarantine, whether there will be a COVID test again at the airport, if they produce what is the time frame where last COVID test can be done. And those are sort of questions are there.
But Priya, I was reading about this interesting that new categories of travelers are emerging. So for example, something called reunion travel is emerging. So people who have not met for months are now sort of figuring out to come together. It could be friends, it could be batchmates, it could be, of course, family. So I'm wondering whether, that is, all the experts here see new categories of travelers emerging.
That's what I was also reading. In fact, medical tourism, again, somehow we've convinced the rest of the world that we handled COVID very well. So we've heard our minister also talk about that medical tourism should be the next big step to bring up the economy, I think. So maybe niche.
There's an interesting product which is out, and I'm sure Varsha will know. If you fly Emirates, they give you COVID cover if you buy a ticket on Emirates. So, this is the adaptation that's happening in the market. I'm sure, like what Pranjal was also saying, we are slowly coming, and these interesting. So if you fly Emirates Airlines, they will cover you. Even if you fall sick, they pay for a lot of it. So it makes it very attractive and makes you feel a little more secure. I just thought I should bring it in.
Maybe India can come up with some sort of an incentive also to boost tourism here. I think once we've a little more under control in terms of COVID. But thank you so much. Sorry.
Many countries are coming up, and I think one of the things which has come up is that the flexibility from the travel community has increased. Much easier cancellation policies, COVID covers, as Jangbir said. So the risk from a financial risk from traveling has gone down tremendously from pre-COVID times. So
As someone
take
said, the hospitality sector is actually getting hospitable. They're actually now welcoming you. So anyway, thank you all for this conversation, and wish you all a very happy new year as well. Also to all of you watching this show. Thank you so much.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.